Welcome to Private Club Radio, your weekly source for industry education, news and discussion. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Hey, good to be back here with you on Private Club Radio. And last week we were over in the UK speaking with Stuart Gillette at Goodwood, so we're going to keep it in that part of the world this week because on that same journey I met with an interesting couple, Richard and Sally Haygarth of Maple Leaf Golf. We met at their golf club, Chichester Golf Club. They own a few other properties around the UK, and they're doing some really intriguing things, really outside the box. I think you're going to enjoy this one, and if nothing else, it's going to get your creative juices flowing and get you thinking about some unique things that you might be able to do or add at your club. I hope that's what you get out of this interview and a lot more. Here's my interview with Richard and Sally Haygarth. Here with Sally and Richard Haygarth at the Chichester Golf Club. And first I'll start off with you, Richard. I'd love to just get a history and background on Maple Leaf Golf.
I guess the Maple Leaf Odyssey, if you like, started back in '92 when Sally and I went over to Toronto. Back then, we were both working for PricewaterhouseCoopers, the accounting firm. We were there for 7 years. We were lucky enough to make the partnership, and our son was born in Canada. So both he and I have Canadian passports, just in case Brexit gets a little hairy. We'll take Sally along too. So we came back to the UK with an opportunity to buy where we're sitting now, Chichester Golf Club. At that point, it was a 36-hole complex with a driving range and a par 3 course. Golf was on the up, and we had half a dozen great years, just really super. We called it Maple Leaf Golf because, having lived in Toronto for 7 years, we like Canadian standards of service. And now I don't want to offend the present company, but we see American and Canadian service being very good, very high standard. We just think the Canadians do it with a little more panache and a little more feeling, and that's what we particularly liked about it. And we thought that translates better to the UK culture. Mm-hmm. So having taken over Chichester Golf Club, we took over Hill Barn in Worthing, another club, in 2003. That was owned by the council. Was run down, and we just really invested. It was actually designed by the guy Hawtrey, who designed Royal Birkdale. And then in 2009 we bought Horton Park in Epsom. Again, it was run down, it was off an administrator, and we invested, and we significantly changed that business as well, as we have done here. And then the big thing for next year is we have a site near Heathrow where we have planning permission to build a 36-hole adventure golf, a 9-hole synthetic course, and a 2-tier driving range. And we're also going to put in an indoor adventure golf into that facility.
Wow! So
that's a sort of a whistle-stop tour of what we have.
Let me turn to you, Sally. So for folks who don't know really what adventure golf is, can you explain that? Because I don't think I know much about it.
Oh, it's big in the States. Yeah. Generally here we call it crazy golf.
Okay.
I think in America it's often called mini golf.
Okay, gotcha. Mini golf.
So we have
yes.
two descriptions. It's mini golf on steroids, or as we like to explain it here, if you take the average British seaside rinky-dink crazy golf course and you gave it to Walt Disney, then you get adventure golf.
Yeah, I'm looking outside here. You've got a pink cascade of a waterfall coming down, and it's
that cave is double-sided. So there's a lake on either side and a waterfall on both sides. It's still pink. It was red last week for Halloween.
Okay.
And so it's just changing it back to blue. Or sometimes we have it red and green at Christmas, so we change the colours. Yeah. Actually, one of the golf holes is in the middle of that cave. And there is a gorilla in a cage in there, which generally frightens most people. But yes, we always dress it for the sort of 2 weeks leading up to Halloween, cool. And that's great fun. We also dress it at Christmas, which kind of keeps it fresh for people who've been lots of times, and we have lots of people that especially come and they bring a pumpkin and they decorate out there with their own pumpkins.
Yep.
So that's fun.
That's pretty cool. So our mutual friend Eddie Bullock says you folks are doing quite a bit to really drive golf forward here in the UK. Can you talk about some of the initiatives and things that you're doing?
Sally's touched on the adventure golf there, and that is a surefire winner. That's probably, I'd say, they are our most successful pieces of real estate that we own. So they have helped just drive more customers through our businesses. And what that does is it is just making the golf facility sustainable. In the summer here, we're rammed, it's busy, and any golf business, if it's not busy in the summer, well, it's in serious trouble.
Sure.
But in the off-peak times, in the winter, it can be difficult, and so the adventure golf has really helped to drive business through. And we've got one at this site at Chichester, and we've got one in our site in Epsom. The other new thing that we've done is we've installed Top Tracer in our range at Epsom. That has been tremendously successful. We're looking at numbers, sort of driving range revenue 50% up.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong, Top Tracer is an expensive commodity.
We've had him on our show,
It's great technology, but it's expensive. But it's moving golf into really the digital age. So kids will come along and they'll be hitting golf balls because they can see the track of their ball on the screen, and that's something they understand.
Sure.
So a field and a golf ball doesn't really resonate, but a screen does.
Yeah.
And the other thing we've done on that range is we've put 30-foot inflatable vinyl targets that are internally illuminated and make a noise when they're hit.
Nice.
That's our
competitions amongst your friends playing.
Yeah. You can find those in the States. If you Google Cosmic Golf, you'll see a guy called Rob Peterson. We call him Cosmic Bob. And he installed those in our range at Epsom. We were the first UK facility to do that.
So you have a nighttime driving range.
We have a nighttime driving range.
That's cool.
And it combines really well with the Top Tracer.
Yeah, it makes
more of a party atmosphere, more of a we equate it to, like, you might go bowling. It's kind of to do with golf in some ways. It doesn't matter if you never picked up a golf club in your life. You can go and have fun because you either hit a target which flashes and makes a noise, or you play one of the games that's on Top Tracer.
Sure.
And you can have a lot of fun that way.
Seems like you're trying to make the game a little bit more social and maybe even a little more family friendly, because you can come here to play some adventure golf with your wife and kids, and maybe they want to eventually play the full game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've always got to bear in mind that pretty much everyone, 99% of the population can play adventure golf. If you look at the stats in the UK, you've got 2% of the population who will play golf once a month. So you can quite easily do the math between proper golf and adventure golf.
Right.
So your marketing is infinitely easier. 50-fold easier. And that means you're going to get more people through the door. And of those people that come through the door, if they see the driving range, we do an upsell. So for £1, you can hit 25 balls on the range.
Wow.
That gets them into real golf.
Right.
And of course, people will, if they have a good time, if you've got the Top Tracer on there, if it's fun, they'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's it like being spouses and owning these businesses together? I bet that's challenging at times, or how's it been?
It can be challenging at times. I think mostly we long ago recognised you can only have one person in charge of one thing, and therefore as we acquired more, that to some extent became easier. So I run Chichester here and Hillbarn Golf Club in Worthing, and Richard runs Horton Park, which obviously was the new one, and he will run Hounslow as and when it's built and operational.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff where we hardly cross paths from a business point of view from one day to the next. Chichester does act as a bit of a head office. It's probably because it's where we started. It's got the most space. It's a 300-acre site. I mean, it's vast. And also it's near to our home, so we do kind of strategy and marketing and financing and things like that together, but a lot of the time we're working separately, which I think is the way you make it work. If you try to go around doing everything together, you'll probably kill each other.
That's great that you're making it work. So what are your long-term prospects for golf in the UK then?
What's your looking into your crystal ball? What do you see?
I think it's got to change. I mean, I think there's going to be. I always talk about the top, middle, and bottom of the market. I think the high-end clubs will continue to be successful. I mean, to take a simple example, any golfer who can play to a reasonable standard, if they got a chance to go and play the old course, they'd be there like a shot. So those are the places, those aspirational golf courses will continue to be successful, I believe. The UK built a whole load of courses in the 90s. They built 600 courses based on a report by the R&A, and that report was flawed, and they built probably 400 of those courses shouldn't have been built. But anyway, that's now history.
Sure.
We see quite a lot of turnover within the industry, in that locally we've seen we've actually seen one 9-hole part of one facility go to a vineyard. Another place is closed for the whole thing to become a vineyard, and there's a place near Epsom that closed. That's going to become some sort of a football academy.
Wow.
And if anyone is able to change the use and get planning on a marginal facility, they're certainly doing that.
Sure.
So I see if anyone is in the mid-market, they've got to make some decisions.
Right.
They can do what we did, which obviously it's site-specific. I think you've got to have the right location. We're blessed here in Chichester. We've got a lot of holiday makers. Epsom is on the edge of London, so it's densely populated. Because every site is going to have to look at what they're doing. I mean, the Hounslow project, we're building the UK's first synthetic golf course. That's so we can provide a quality short game facility year round. Saint-Tropez, the only one I've seen of that type is in Saint-Tropez. They built that because they have a lack of water.
Yeah.
In the UK, you've been here a short while.
Sure.
You can see we have plenty of water, and in the winter, golf courses get muddy.
Right.
It's not a great experience.
Sure.
So I think we've got to look for different types of facility.
Wow. How about you? Any difference there?
Well, I think, I've mentioned the word fun, and yes, you're absolutely right. We've focused on the family side. People are far more tied up with their families now, and I don't see that changing. So I do see the ability for people's time to play golf will diminish, which means we need to increase the pool of potential people that are doing that. So not just men age 60, but actually everybody from 5 to 95 of both sexes. And yes, what we've done here allows this. I mean, when we first opened the Adventure Golf, we would have a lot of people phone up and say, "I've seen the aeroplane up in the sky. We desperately want to come and play, but we're not members of the golf club. Is it all right for us to come?" Golf still has, and we fight it all the time, this image of it's exclusive and you have to be a member and all of this sort of stuff, and that's never been us in the period that we've been in golf. So the activities that we do try to break all those barriers. The other thing we do is get into golf. So that is a massive program that we do at both Chichester and Taunton, of bringing new people into the game. Because we say, well, we're never going to have them out the other side as members if we don't actively bring more people into the game. So we have a very strong Get Into Golf program of trying to increase that pool of people. And again, we see a lot of actually females take part in that. They like the social side of it, they like the group learning, they like having a cup of coffee or whatever it is before or afterwards. And that then eventually says, well, I've got someone to go and try the 9-hole golf course with, because I've just been in a group with these people, and let's go on Saturday or Tuesday or whatever it works for us to go and take that next step,
right?
Which leads to membership. So these are the perfect facilities to do that. The range is here, the par 3 course is over there, the adventure golf course is there.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think a lot of people fear stepping on that tee the first time. If they can do it with somebody that they've kind of done it with, gone through it with, I think that definitely lessens the fear. How about, has there been any pushback from your members when you started to introduce some of these interesting concepts? I see some smiles on your face.
I think it's the experience at Chichester and in Epsom, where we've built adventure golfs, has been similar. Chichester works beautifully because the adventure golf is remote from the main golf facility. So the main golf facility is 600 meters away. So once we built this cafe, we were able to feed and give drinks to our customers after the adventure golf. So that worked very well, and it's remote from the main golfing facility, as I say.
I don't know, have you been down there?
I haven't been there yet, right.
Because that's where the 36 holes of golf and the clubhouse and the whole rest of it is.
Yeah.
And then we've got in Epsom, it's all through one facility. And we realised that we opened the adventure golf, and certainly in the 6 weeks of the kids' holidays in the summer, it was creaking. And so we've doubled the size of the clubhouse. We built a kids' playground to entertain the kids. We built a massive patio, and we moved the putting green from right outside the clubhouse to over towards the first tee, which sounds like a minor change, but kids were, obviously it's an open space of grass, they wanted to play.
They wanted to run,
They were playing on the putting green.
That's what my kids would do.
Which is, is natural, but there was a clash between the different types of customer.
Sure.
And so the upshot of that was when we changed the facility, we solved that problem, and we reopened the clubhouse on the 1st of April in Epsom, and we've had no kickback from members whatsoever. They're delighted with the facilities. I mean, we've spent, £1.5 million, so it would be difficult for them to be, to be unhappy.
Right. Yeah. Any other interesting things planned, or any other ideas that
Well,
others...
we've just opened the indoor adventure golf here, so we built a building over the summer.
It's great here when it's cold. Yeah.
Out on the driving range, and that opened last month. And that we borrowed from the States, and actually the fit out was done by a gentleman that we called Looney Larry. We seem to give everybody a name. And that's been wonderful because that will give us it'll give us people on site when the weather's not so good.
Yeah.
Which will be great, and continue to bring people here. And so we are also then looking at, as Richard said, the whole synthetic idea for the course here, to again take it to be more of a fun activity rather than this sort of somewhat serious thing called the golf course. That's for the par 3 course.
Okay.
And the final thing for here that we're looking at as a long-term plan is actually to build some lodges, so that we'd actually have some accommodation on site, because that is an area of the golf market that is growing.
Sure.
And we're in a lovely part of the world. A lot of people come on holiday here. There is a shortage of accommodation, and so we have people phone us up desperate to come and stay and play, and we've got great courses for them to play, but we can't find anywhere for them to stay because everywhere is full.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we'll build our own.
The other thing we didn't touch on actually is that both Chichester and in Epsom we've opened escape rooms.
I love that. Yes, that's really big in Florida, where I come from.
So we, again, Looney Larry, who built the adventure golf for us, he has a model for some escape rooms, but we found someone local who we've done a joint venture with, and we have 5 rooms in Epsom and we have 3 here.
Right.
Your listeners might want an explanation of escape rooms. Some people know what they are. They're possibly better known in the States than they are over here.
A little bit, but explain it for us.
But again, we've done it because it's great corporate team building activities. And with things like adventure golf and cosmic driving range and the top tracer, that whole thing becomes much more of a corporate type event. The other aspect of that is the fact that we put a bar on our range in Epsom. So we decided to license the whole of the driving range, and so it becomes much more of a party space. And the fact that it's a party space means that we've extended our food and beverage capacity again, and we're just trying to change the whole golf experience.
Yeah. You've done some avant-garde things for sure. Have you polled folks and kind of seen what would work? How do you decide what you're gonna come up with next?
we go to the States a lot.
Yeah.
And we've got friends in the US and in Canada, so it's a good excuse to go over.
Yeah.
We talk. If there's an industry, we do industry conferences. We see what people are doing.
Yeah.
And it's.
But you're doing some unique things. I haven't seen too many clubs with an escape room.
No, we've also been to the entertainment industry show in Paris. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Something a bit like that. So we just.
So you're getting out and seeing.
We view ourselves as in the entertainment industry. And we view our competition as anybody that entertains customers, so that's bowling, cinema, whatever. Yep. Not we don't view our competition really as another golf course down the road. And we golf is a very, very expensive game to be in. Just to open your door is very, very expensive, and it's the same whether one person goes out there or 1,001.
Yes.
And you have to pay all those costs just to let that one person out there. So you have to keep looking at your assets and saying, what else can I do?
Yep.
And I have a nice patch of ground over there.
Yeah.
that I've had several ideas for. The planners aren't always playing ball with all of our ideas. So we'll get there in the end as to what we're going to do with that patch of land. And I'm sorry about the interruption. They want to test the fire alarms.
I heard,
It's okay.
We're not going to do that right now.
Life goes on.
Last question for you then. So obviously a lot of golf clubs are either managed or governed by people who aren't necessarily risk takers. So what would you say to people in terms of their appetite for risk and getting over some of those?
Don't do golf in that case.
if you want to carry on doing the same thing over and over again, you will get the same result. If as a golf course owner, or if as a group of members that own the golf course, you want to move forward, then you're going to have to take some risk. And if you're a golf course in England, I would say there's certain clubs that really have no choice. They will either have to reinvent themselves in some way, or they will be out of business. And we've seen some clubs go out of business. It's a tough market. Yeah. Diversification is one way, and obviously you can choose to invest and try and take your facilities up market. So I think if you're happy with where you're at, you don't necessarily need to take any risk. But if you're not, I don't think there's a choice.
Anything to add, Sally?
Well, I think that a lot of courses, what a lot of clubs haven't looked at is their whole clubhouse facilities, and they haven't invested in it in a very long time, and that has become unacceptable to customers now. They don't want to go in a bar that looks like that. They don't want to eat in a dining room that looks like that. They don't want to go in the changing rooms that look like that. And the reason they haven't invested is they haven't got the money, and that's often the point at which it causes the problems. But actually, they ought to be looking at that as an asset and taking the plunge and saying, okay, we're going to spend the money, but then how are we going to get back? What else are we going to do? Right. Whether that's weddings, or as we do here, we do stag do's and we do hen do's. And
those are bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Yes, yes, to translate. I should know. Yeah.
One anecdote, Gabriel, you might like is when we started redesigning the bar in Epsom, the designers kept talking to me about, this would be a nice thing to do in a golf club, and that would be a nice look for a golf club. And after a while, I said, look, guys, you need to understand, if my customers walk into this bar when you're finished and it looks like a golf club, we have failed. I do not want it to look like a golf club. I want it to look edgy, innovative, and something that people haven't seen before. And it's about being a little bit different and being unique. Right. And sadly, we don't have time to take you to Epsom, but our theming is maple leaf. Yeah. So you've got a life-size picture of a moose in the loos. Oh wow! In the toilet, in the washrooms. And we've got like copper maple leaves over the wall, and so there's a whole theme going through there.
Very cool.
It doesn't look like a golf club.
That's awesome.
So like here doesn't.
Right. No, it doesn't. We're in a room that's like a jungle-themed cafe outside the Adventure Golf Course, and I almost feel like I'm in a Swedish furniture showroom more so than a golf course. It's nice. It's different. Very modern. Yep. If folks want to find out more about what you guys are doing, find out more about Maple Leaf Golf, how do they do that?
The easiest is www.mapleleafgolf.co.uk.
Awesome.
And that is the gateway to all of our different businesses.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Private Club Radio. It was good to spend a little time with you today. Hope we can do it again next week. Until then, here's to your membership success.
Private Club Radio is brought to you by Concert Golf Partners, helping to preserve and enhance private golf and country clubs. Concert Golf has the capital, expertise, and private club hospitality experience to help upscale private clubs achieving long-term success and membership growth. For 25 years, Concert Golf has allowed private club members to focus on simply enjoying their club. Visit concertgolfpartners.com to learn more about the recapitalization process.